Hey, what up, my super easy Forex family? This is Uncle P. It's been a little while since I did a live video, so I decided let me just do one for you. We on lockdown anyway, so let's just talk. I want to talk to you guys about something important. If you're aspiring to be a full-time trader in the markets, okay, there's going to be a hump that you're going to have to get over, and I'm going to talk to you about that. I'm not going to rush through this because I think this is one of the missing ingredients in the Forex market. Everybody likes to do videos showing charts and everything else. And I understand that, no problem. I do the same thing. But at some point, one of the things that you're going to come across in your journey as a Forex trader, whether you're just starting out or whether you're midway point or whatever, in order to reach a level that you would consider yourself successful. And if you speak to any Forex trader, stock market trader, it's all the same thing. There's going to have to be this mental hurdle that you're going to have to overcome. The problem is in this business, nobody really talks about it at all. It's just like taboo. Nobody wants to say anything about it. It's the elephant in the room, but there's no conversation about it. There's really not a lot of resources on it. You can YouTube a bunch of videos and you'll never find anybody really telling you what you need to know to mentally overcome the challenges that comes with trading in the business of Forex or the stock market as well. I want to spend some time with you today, kind of going over that so that the first accomplishment and the most important accomplishment that you can have in this business is maintaining a sense of self pride and self control and not losing your sanity, not losing your dignity, and not losing yourself in the quest of trying to become a professional Forex trader. If you're brand new, you have no clue what I'm talking about. But I don't swear to God, I don't like doing that, but I promise you, many, because there's going to be thousands watching this video later. I promise you, if you ask many of these people who are on their journey trying to become a successful Forex trader, they will all tell you the same exact thing, that it's a mental beatdown if you're not careful, because that's the way it's designed to do. And I have did a video in the past that talked about how the Forex market is one of the most abusive relationships that you can be in. Okay. People talk about being in abusive relationships. The Forex market is notoriously the biggest and one of the best at it. And here's what make it worse. It's because you volunteered to be in that relationship. Did you hear what I said? Every time you open your account, you put money into it and you say, okay, I got a new strategy. I done just bought me a new indicator. I done just hired me a new mentor. I done did all these different things. And you enter into that market. You're voluntarily raising your hand saying, I want to be mentally abused if you're not careful. Why? Because, for an example, I did a class today because, I do classes for my students every week. And we went over one of the trades. And I actually did a YouTube video months ago, several weeks ago. And I told you guys on a trade, I said, hey, I'm going to give you a free signal. And I said, hey, the USD JPY is going to drop. And sure enough, it did drop 100 and something pips, but it didn't do the big move. If you go back about a month or so ago on the 4-hour time frame, you will see exactly how they mentally abused everybody. So they did the initial drop just like I knew. But what you'll see is that on the charts, and I need you to follow me to the end of this video so that you'll understand where I'm going. I'm really trying to bless you, but you're not going to get it if you just one of those people who, well, just tell me about some charts and move on. Okay, that's why you keep going through the same routine you're going through, because when somebody is really trying to give you some real knowledge, you too impatient to want to listen. And that's fine. It's your trading career. Do what you want to do. But if you really want to hear from somebody who do this day in and day out, then stay tuned so I can help you through this particular part of the business that nobody wants to talk about. Nobody. I don't hear nobody on YouTube talking about the mental battle that comes with trading Forex if you're not careful. It doesn't have to be one, but when you're starting out, it certainly becomes one. So I'd rather tell you the truth, because the Bible says the truth shall set you free, not your illusions. Okay? So hear me out. So go back on your own charts about a month or so ago, and you'll also see I did a YouTube video about this, and I even called out the trade. I said, hey, the USD JPY, that thing gonna drop bad. So it dropped 100 and something pips, and then it turned back around. The institutions and investors, that's what they do. They start flushing their money in, curving it back the other way to induce the buyers to come on into the market. Oh, this thing going up. And sure enough, it went up another 200 pips. When they have captured enough people's money, what happened? They ended up turning around. Look on your own charts, and I swear to you, find that video I did, and then you look on your own charts and tell me if I wasn't lying. Sure enough, they induced the buyers. Everybody put their money in and flushed it in, and then all of a sudden, boom! That thing dropped hundreds of pips. I mean, hundreds. I think it was like 900 pip drop, just like I told you it was going to do. Are you hearing what I'm saying? What happens in the Forex market, and those who've been trading for a while, you can confess and tell the truth if you want to be honest. How many times did you do your analysis, drew up your charts, you got your indicators, whatever you used, and then what happened was, as soon as you entered the trade, you felt confident, you was comfortable with it, and lo and behold, they hit your stop loss, and then they come back, like I teach in class, they come back and do the slap move. They slap you in your face, because not only did they hit your stop loss, but then about an hour or a few hours or a day or two later, it comes right back to exactly the area where you knew it was going to go. How many times did that happen to you? How many times? But here's what happens. Even when you saw that the trade had reset itself and looked like, okay, you know what, it went a little bit further and everything else hit my stop loss, but now it looks like it's perfect and ready to go. How many times were you pumped to the point where you was too afraid to even re-enter that trade? Even though you saw a second opportunity at it, but you didn't get back in. Why? Because they played with your mind. And now watch what happens. Not only did they take your money, and you need to hear me, oh my God, if you don't hear me, that's on you. So what? Be it on you. It's your choice whether you want to listen or not. But I'm giving you knowledge so that you'll understand what is actually taking place. They are purposely doing this. They are purposely playing with your mind on two levels. Number one, they know that they got you trapped because you're addicted to trying to find a way to win in the Forex market. But on the other hand, they got you so gun shy and scared until even when you see a re-entry point where you can say, okay, y'all got me, y'all got me, I'm gonna get my money back and re-enter that same exact trade, but you won't do it. Why? Because they took something else from you that nobody wants to talk about in this business. And what is that they took? Yeah, they did a stop hunt and took your money, but they also took something else. What did they take from you? I'm glad you asked. They took your confidence in yourself. Let me say it again. They not only took your money when they hit your stop loss, and if they keep rinsing and repeating because you keep using the same routine, now realizing maybe you need to tweak or change your strategy just a little bit to avoid this. But even with the best strategy, every once in a while you're going to lose a trade. Accept that. But it's hard when you're sitting up there putting your, watch this, yourself into it. See, it's just business to the institutions and to the brokers. It's just business. But for you, it ain't business. It's personal. It's your personal journey. It's your personal mission to become a successful trader. Notice how you put personal into a non-personal business. Are you hearing what I'm saying? That was the first trap. And so what happens now, you're judging yourself, not the strategy, not the indicators. You are judging who? Yourself based on your wins and losses. Do you see how you can get trapped into this? You see how it's working? And so they know you're going to come back. You can be pissed. You can be crying. You can say, I ain't never doing this again. And you may be able to push it off for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, but somehow it's like a magnet and it just sucks you right back in. And so you hear something good or something attractive, and here you are back at it again, but you're not aware of what they're doing to you, beloved. They're trapping your thought process and breaking your confidence while still taking your money. See, to them, it's just business. To you and to me, we make it personal because we say, I am a good Forex trader, or I am not a good Forex trader. And see, once you get talking like that, they got you. They got you. And they break you down like a fraction. You see how this is working, you guys? Let me tell you something very interesting. And you on coronavirus lockdown, so ain't no need for me trying to rush this video. I want to talk to you. I haven't done one in a little while because I just didn't feel like doing videos. You know, sometimes I feel like doing them, sometimes I don't. Because a lot of this stuff, whether you join the Super Easy Forex family or not, hey, that's your business. I am not tripping. I ain't tripping. Okay? I'm not. So when I do these videos, it's literally to help traders around the world, just to help you in this business. If you want to join us, I'm not saying no. Come on and do your thing. Just go to superezforex.com. The link is in the description once I post this. But even if not, let me just be one of your coaches who just care about you, the person, not trying to enter into business with you. If we do, cool. I'll be your mentor. And I'm not the only mentor. Well, I got 3 or 4 other teachers in the group who teaches classes throughout the week. So you're in good hands. You'll learn. But this part of the business, okay, I'm back. I don't know what happened. See, you know what? When you start trying to help people, you see how the devil get busy? You see how that work? Just out of the blue, it just cut off, right? I'm back. The devil is busy. Oh my God, he is busy. He hate when I try to give information because he know whether you take this information for trading in the forex or in life, period, it doesn't really matter because it can be applied not just in the forex market. Realistically, if you want me to be honest, I wanted to talk to you guys about this in the first place, about life in general. But I know people come here for forex, so I'm applying this knowledge about how your own personal perception of yourself can be destroyed in forex terms, because many of you let me give you an example. Some of y'all looking at me like fat meat greasy. So let me come on now. I know. So let me give it to you in a way that you will understand. How many times have you sat there, you lost a trade or another trade, or you lost some money and now you cussing, you fussing, man, I must be the dumbest mother on the planet. How in the hell they keep, and you tossing stuff, you cussing, you fussing, you going crazy, you going nuts. And meanwhile, professional traders, they're like, okay, hey, all right, I'll just redo the analysis and they move on to the next trade. But you, you either cussing, fussing, and blaming yourself, or you cussing, fussing, blaming the indicators or a system or this or that or that. Either way it goes, notice how you're having an emotional fit. Do you see that? And this is where the trap is. Because they got you addicted to trying to learn how to trade and aspiring to become a full-time Forex trader while frustrating the heck out of you at the same time. So it's kind of like you're trapped in an emotional addictive relationship. On the one hand, it's abusing you emotionally, making you into an emotional monster. But on the other hand, you're addicted to keep coming back to it like you're on drugs. I hope this is making sense to you guys. See, this stuff people don't talk about. And that's why I tell my team that most professional traders are professional waiters. We're not in a rush to take a trade because we realize the games that goes on, and we're willing to wait until those games are over, and then we enter the market at the best opportunities that we see. Now, that cuts down on the number of losses because we bypassed a lot of foolishness. Now, do you still lose trades? Yes, I do. Of course I lose trades. Anybody in this business is going to lose trades, but the key is you can't make it personal. Let me give you guys something and I hope you're paying attention to me. And again, I know this video is going to reach thousands of people later on. Out of those thousands, how many will really apply what I'm trying to teach you and really trying to share and convey to you? I don't know. All I can do is communicate to you what I know needs to be heard. Maybe I'm not the best person of saying it, but either way it goes, I'm doing my best, okay? And I'm outside, so forgive the background noise in the cars and stuff like that. Hey, I'm just want to be outside. I don't want to be inside. I want to get some air, okay? But hear me good. Here's something. My wife and she was playing the Red Table Talk with Will Smith and his wife Jada. And so they was doing a table talk on relationships and how the quarantine virus is affecting relationships. And while they were talking about that, and I'm talking about Forex, so just hang with me, okay? I'm taking you step by step mentally through you just follow with me, okay? Stay to the end. You'll see where I'm going with this. So while I'm listening to this with my wife, they had John Gray, the pastor, on with his wife talking about how the quarantine was affecting their relationship and da-da-da. But as I was listening to that conversation, something stood out. One of the things that they said was, and they didn't know they were and they had this relationship therapist on, blah, blah, blah. But the thing that kept coming out is they kept talking about how they were, due to this quarantine and isolation, they were forced to psychologically understand or misunderstand themselves and their significant other. Okay? Isn't that strange? And while that was playing, a thought hit my head. Now, I don't like to say what God told me, because guess what? I don't know if he did or didn't, but a thought hit my head and a scripture hit my mind. And this relates to people who trade in the Forex market. A thought hit my mind, and it was, if you ever read the Bible, whether you believe in the Bible or not, that's not the point. In the Bible, there was a part where Jesus was taken into the desert to be tempted by the devil. Now, whether people are Christians, not Christians, they still kind of heard of the story about where Jesus went to the desert and the devil tried to tempt him. And they said, hey, if you be the son of God, then you toss yourself over the mountain or make these stones into bread, blah, blah, blah. But hold on, slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. Because a lot of people read the Bible, they read it too fast and they miss over the key points. And I told my wife, I said, honey, you know that scriptures where it talked about that. She said, yeah. I said, but you know what the most important part was? She said, no. And I'm going to share that with you guys. I said, it was the very first sentence that the devil said to him. It wasn't all the temptations that were important. And this applies to you in Forex. Watch how this swings back around. Watch, watch, watch. And I beg you, if you know other people who trade in the Forex market who are struggling and they're your friend, I beg you to please just share this video with them. I'm not asking people to join our Super Easy Forex family. I'm not trying to do promotion. I'm just trying to be a blessing to you as my fellow traders around the world. Hear me good when I say what I'm about to tell you. This is so powerful. I said, if you really slow down the scripture and you hear how the devil tempted him, I said, he's still doing the same thing to each one of us today, especially in the Forex market. If you trade, that's just one of the extra tools he has to abuse your mind. Watch what was actually said. What the Bible said is that, and the devil came to Jesus and said, if, notice that key word. See, people read right past it. He said, if you be the Son of God, then turn these stones into bread. If you be the Son of God, then bow down and worship me, and I'll give you all these treasures and everything else. So we hear about all these temptations, but we miss the whole point. The whole point was the question, if you be the Son of God. And so you say, well, what did that have to do with anything? It has everything to do with it. Because you know what happens? How many of you are struggling with self-doubt? Oh, Brother Patrick, they wasn't ready for that one. How many of you were already struggling with self-doubt, and then you bring your behind into this Forex market where it's highly manipulated? And there's nobody really telling you this information. Hey, there are certain times you shouldn't be trading in the market because that's when the brokers and the institutions, they start manipulating it, and then you think you did something wrong, but you did nothing wrong. You just started trading during the time when they were notoriously manipulating and the markets, and they do it day in and day out during certain times, but you wasn't aware of that. But now they got you thinking that there's something wrong with you, that you're a poor student, oh, that you just dumb, and now you're literally talking to yourself. And come on now, hey, this is just me and you. Come on now, this is just me and you. Ain't nobody around. It's just you watching me, and I'm talking to you. So don't sit there and lie and say you ain't never. Now, many of you haven't, but many of you have. You started talking negatively to who? Yourself. Hold on, let me let this truck go by. Okay. You talking to yourself now. You calling yourself dumb. You calling yourself this and that. You living in doubt of yourself. And here's the truth. If we really wanted to be honest, for some of you guys, it was happening to you before you even entered the Forex market. I really think for some of you guys, maybe the blessing was that you joined the Forex market so you can just get this information. If you quit Forex market tomorrow and still retain what I'm telling you about how self-doubt can kill anything that you attempt to do, because you will go through normal losses in business. I've owned daycares. I've owned real estate business. I've owned restaurants. I can go down the list of business that I've owned. And it didn't matter. At some point, you have to overcome the challenge of who you are and how you see yourself. Because until you do that, any challenge that come along, you begin to talk bad about who? Yourself, as opposed to just looking at it as an actual challenge for what it is. So when Jesus was asked, if you be the Son of God, most people took instantly right to what the challenge was. Oh, well, turn these stones into bread. Oh, well, just jump off this mountain and then, the angels will come and get you. So they went right into that story, not realizing the real nuggets of greatness was in the original question, the first sentence. If you be, how many of you guys are sitting in self-doubt of yourself? And then you jump into this Forex market, you getting emotionally beat up. And now that's just compounding the feeling you already had about yourself. And so now you're struggling mentally. Come on now. See, the truth, the Bible says that what will set you free? The truth. So until you tell yourself the truth, you will always struggle. Whether you quit Forex and start your own business or whatever it is, the moment you hit challenges, the question is going to come to you. If you were trying to be a successful business owner, if you really were what you say you were, if, and watch this, the devil don't come and personally tap you on the shoulder and say, if you be, he'll send your own family members. Oh, I know I'm calling somebody's number. He'll send your own significant other. He'll send somebody close to you. See, it gotta be somebody close to you that you really put credence on their words. You really care about what they say about you, their perceptions, your close friends and stuff like that. And so when you are already going through challenges such as the coronavirus and you need money and all these different things, the question comes, if you are, and put your name there. Put your name there. If you be who you say you are, then why are you dealing with this? Why can't you get it? Why you keep losing trades? Why you this and that? And here you are, and here's the other, oh, this is so good. God, this is so good. I wish to God when I was struggling that I had somebody who played this video for me. That's why I'm doing this for you. If you be, if, and here I am sitting in the room alone by myself, just lost another trade. And now I go to the mirror and I don't even want to look myself in the eye. Because I told everybody I was going to be successful at this and that and this. And here I go again, another loss. And so I'm so ashamed I don't even want to look myself in the eye. You go into the bathroom, you sit by yourself, you're crying. You don't want to come in the room. You're gloomy, you're moody, you're angry, you're bitter, you're resentful, you're touchy, you're emotional. And it's all because you lost some trades. And when I say that to you, it sounds pretty simple, don't it? Hey, it's just a trades. Everybody lose some trades. I ain't tripping. I lost 2 trades this week because, okay, they got me. But I'm looking at them and they're almost ready for me to get right back in. I'm a ride into the sunset. I'm a ride them to the sunset. Why? Because I know how the game go. See, it ain't personal. It's just business. But back in the day, no, man. Every loss made me feel like a dumbass man. Lord, forgive me for saying that. But I felt so dumb. I felt so beat up, so humiliated, so stupid. And then I would be mad at myself because for some reason I just couldn't quit. So here I coming back again, refilling my account, putting money back into the broker account. When I said I quit. I ain't doing this no more. And there I go back again. And here I go back to the same mental abuse. And the same question kept being asked. If you be Uncle P, if you say who you are, if you really say, you see how it just plays that game in your head. You see, and you can understand why in this business, Forex business, most people who showing you charts and this and that, they don't want to tell you about this. Why? Because it might mess up their sales. I'm telling you. I've been there, y'all. I know how it feels to be on the receiving end. You just bought your new indicator. You think, okay, I got them, I'm ready. And then boom, another loss hits you. And you just feel stupid. And you feel suckered. And you have 2 people that emerge from there. The first person is the person who emerged and they start talking bad to themselves or about themselves. The second person starts looking for somebody to blame. They become the critics. They become the scam hunters. I'm hunting for scammers. I'm hunting for scammers. You must be a scammer. You must be a scammer. You can do live charts showing live proof, and they will still call you a scammer. Why? Because it ain't you necessarily, it's them not feeling good about themselves and the results and being able to put in the work. Now, this doesn't apply to everybody. Again, I'm just talking. Okay? I'm just talking. But even with live video, do you know people said to me, now here I am, I'm saying, hey, I'm giving you the date, I am giving you the time, I am giving you the pair, and I am on the live charts, and I'm using a free tool called, what is it called? Because you can add this to your charts. It ain't my indicator. It's in the market store. You can get it for free. Contact your broker if you have problems. Don't even blow up our email. All right. It's called Show Pips. Show Pips. And when you see me doing my live YouTube video showing charts, you see me doing show pips because I'm showing you in the numbers as they're literally moving, so hey, this ain't frozen charts or something in the past. It's actually live and happening. Do you know people still say that ain't real? I'm like, what the heck? Oh Lord, this is funny, but it ain't funny. Because the challenge is the scam hunters, and here's how I know somebody's having a tough time. Because scam hunters are the people who's frustrated because they just haven't found their footing in the markets, and they're just going through it. They're just going through it. They're just going through it. And so they're so frustrated and angry until they just believe it can't be real anymore. Do you see what I'm saying? They feel like it can't be real. So no matter how much live proof you provide to them, it's not about you personally, because sometimes they don't know you. The truth of the matter is that it's a personal battle within, because guess what? I haven't achieved a certain level of success, and I've tried and I've tried and I've tried. And because of this mental battle, I'm infuriated and I need somebody to target. Do you see how that works? What is the actual question? Is it really about trying to find and flush out as many scams, which there's plenty of them in there? We have even extra measures now to protect our group from being allowing scammers in. So I get that part. But the truth of the matter is, when you boil it down, is it all about the scammers, or is it about the fact, hey, I feel like I failed in this thing and I'm just unhappy. I'm very angry. I'm unhappy. I'm this. I'm that. You see how this game plays? Because at the end of the day, it's still the same question the devil is asking you and me. And if we don't respond carefully, we'll always go through this, no matter whether it's in the Forex business, stock market, whether you open a Shopify business, whatever it is. As soon as failure come and visit your door, which it will. Did you hear what I said? It will. Failure visits you first before success. Please write that down. Please write that down. Failure visits you first before success. Many people look at people's success stories, but what they don't realize is how many times the person had to overcome failure and self-doubt and the same challenges that any average person goes through who's trying to aspire to become successful in anything. It doesn't bypass people. It's just that many people who reach certain levels, they never want to talk about it, and they always want to come across like they had no challenge at all. So it gives you the illusion like there was no challenges at all and you're the only one who got the problem. When in essence, failure visits you first before success. So don't take it personal. Don't start putting your name on it. What do I mean by that? All right, glad you asked. By putting your name on it, what it means is, it wasn't the fact that the trade was lost. Hey, did an analysis, trade was lost, no big deal. Okay, maybe a news event came out, blah, blah, blah. I'll give you an example. So I took a trade on GBP AUD, okay? And it was set up pretty. Everything was looking beautiful. But what happened was, the same time that we took the trade, about an hour or two later, Boris Johnson, who is the prime minister of the Great British Pound area, whatever part of the world that is, he came out with an announcement. Now, normally what I teach is make sure you check for news events and stuff like that. It wasn't scheduled. He just came out and started blurting. What did he say? Well, here's what he said. He said, well, This coronavirus thing, I know y'all expecting this lockdown to be coming to an end soon and we to slowly migrate back. He said, nope, it ain't happening. And as soon as he said that, boop, GDP started dropping. Now, here's what happened. The first thing I do when I'm looking at a loss, I want to know why. Just like any other person. I want to know why did I lose that trade? Because I did my analysis, and I expect to get me some hamburger money up out of this beast for the time that I did my analysis. You understand what I'm saying? I ain't no different from nobody else. I want my burger money, okay? Even though I don't eat hamburgers no more, I eat turkey and chicken. I don't really eat beef no more. That's not the point. Point is, I want to get paid for my effort. And that trade lost. First thing I went to go check the news. What did I do wrong? Because something. I checked the news beforehand, and sure enough, I found out it was Boris Johnson running his mouth. What I would love to have done was to say, Boris Johnson, if you don't shut the heck up, wait till my trade is finished, wait till it hit target, then you can go ahead and start making an announcement. That's what I really wanted to do. But watch this. Notice how I'm talking to you about that trade. The difference between the person who has kind of learned to overcome the challenge of the mental beatdown versus a person who didn't. Notice how I'm describing to you guys how that trade went and that I'm confessing on camera. I lost that trade. I ain't got it, whatever. I ain't tripping. Yeah, it happens in the business, right? But here's the deal. Another person who lost that same trade would say, I am just horrible at this stuff. I can't never get it right. Notice what they're saying. Notice how I described the situation. I said I ended the trade, did my analysis, and then Boris Johnson brought his coronavirus behind out of the hospital and want to run his mouth as soon as I got into that trade. Okay? Notice how I'm saying it. And then I say, okay, but no problem. I'll just wait for it later on, and eventually the thing will reset, and then we make some good money off of it. Because it will. You just got to be patient, wait for it to settle down. But that's why there's GDP weakness, by the way, for those who's looking at GDPs wonder why they're falling. That's part of the reason why. All right, so don't say I didn't help you. But notice how I'm describing that trade versus another person who has been mentally beat down. That person ain't talking about doing, oh, well, there was an announcement and I lost the trade. What are they saying to themselves? I lost the trade. I am a loser. And they're personalizing it. They're personalizing it. Do you see what I'm saying? If you be, and you put your name there, that's always the question you're going to have to deal with. But the truth of the matter is, once you have come solid within yourself and you know who you are, even when you're going through a storm, even when you're going through challenges, you still have a I will keep going kind of spirit. One of the things I told my wife, I said, I thank God for one thing. I have been through some bad situations. Bad, very bad. I'm telling you, I won't talk about it because I end up crying on this thing. My heart has been broken so many times through so many bad situations, so many betrayals, so much loss and this and that. And so this is why I can personally talk to you about this situation. But I told my wife, I said, one thing I am glad that God gave me now, and that's the ability to rebound, the ability to come back. So instead of me quitting and calling, watch this, and I'll leave you with this and we'll be done. A lot of people are quitters and they just quit all the time. I just quit. And you're quitting on yourself versus quitting on maybe the method in which you are trying to obtain your goals, your way of doing things. No, what they start doing is they start calling themselves a quitter. They call themselves dumb. They call themselves a failure. And that's where depression comes in. That's where regret comes in. That's where self-doubt comes in. That's where fear comes in. And all these other negative feelings come in that door because of how you're describing the situation. I'm using that Boris Johnson example because, again, I'm describing that trade as, okay, I see what happened with the trade. It was just a trade. Boris Johnson, I will slap your face if you open up your mouth on another trade that I'm in, right when I get into it, and then you want to start making an announcement, nigga, Rachi, if you don't shut the heck up. See how I can laugh about it? And then I'm just stalking the pair. And when the opportunity comes back in, I'll get back in, make back what I lost, plus plenty more. No problem. See, it's just business. But what about you? Would you have laughed and said the same thing, or are you losing the trade and losing your mind at the same time? Is every loss breaking your spirit? Come on, see, the truth will set you free. The truth. So I'm asking you to learn to detach from circumstances who you are, because they're two different things. And let me leave you guys with one other big nugget. By the way, I'm a certified life coach, and I used to do a lot of marital and relationship counseling. Okay, so that's why I know the worlds and kind of merge them together. Okay, so what I need you to do is to learn to disconnect what happens to you from who you are. Now, watch this most important revelation. And I hope this blesses your socks and gets you thinking, and you can discuss this with your spouse. But what happens is that when you begin to attach failure to who you are, and watch how this plays out, this is so good. Many people, and many of us who had went through bad things in your past, whether you grew up in an abusive home, abusive this and that, whatever it is, you can add. You end up spending your life searching, watch this, trying to find out, who am I? And this plays out in the Forex market because you're trying to find your trading identity. When you try to find a trading style and this and that, you're really trying to find your trading identity. Oh, I just got a trade signal. I got to go take a trade in a minute, so I'm going to close this up. But here's the deal. Watch how this plays out, you guys, realistically. So you are defining who you are as a person successfully or unsuccessfully based on for everything you've been through. Notice, watch what I'm saying. If you don't get this, oh my God, you're going to miss everything. So you have summarized yourself as a person based off all your past experiences, all your losses in the Forex market, and prior to the Forex market, you went through this, you went through that, and that has become your story that you tell yourself. And so every time you enter a trade and then you lose the trade, you didn't just lose the trade, you, the person, are a loser now. And so now the whole story, the whole historics, well, my mama didn't believe in me, my uncle did this to me, and da da da. And the whole story plays into nothing more than what was a simple trade. But to you, it was not just a simple trade, it was the whole conglomerate of who you have decided, this is my story and this is who I am, and I'm tired of always being the failure. I'm tired of being the loser. Notice the terms you're using. You didn't lose a trade. You're saying you lost more of you. And this is the mistake we make. Going back to, if you be the Son of God, then cast yourself. If you be the Son of God, then turn these stones into bread. It wasn't about those events. It was about the devil asking Jesus, do you really know who you are? That was the fundamental question. So how does this play out for you? What happens is when you begin to decide that I am who I am based off of all my past experiences, which many of us have had many bad experiences in life, you begin to summarize that you are not qualified to be successful. And so you end up doing this mental self-sabotage thing to ourselves, even in relationships, in business, and whatever, and especially in the Forex market. I see it. But here's what I believe God shared with me. He said, what the failure is, it's not in what happened to you. He said it is in the fact that your past has zero, hear me good, your past has zero to do with who you really are. Those are just experiences. It has nothing to do with your value, loved one. Do you know what the word self-esteem actually means? The word self-esteem means to esteem oneself. It's really this, that's all it is. Take the word and reverse it backwards and you'll realize that's all it means. If self-esteem means to esteem oneself, well, what does that mean? It's it's your perception of your perceived value of yourself. That's what it actually means. So when you hear a person say, I'm dealing with what? Low self-esteem. Let me caution you. Even if it means that you never join us, that's fine. And I'm okay with that, because if I bless you, then I'm so happy. Because here's the truth: if you're dealing with low self-esteem, trying to be in the forex market, and you're going to take some losses, that's just going to beat your spirit down even more. So I suggest you stabilize your perception of yourself before you come into this market. Here's something interesting that the Bible said. The Bible says, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. See how you tie your feelings to your money and your money to your feelings? See, that's what the Bible said. The, the love of money is the root of all evil. Money ain't evil at all. It's your emotional connection to it. So going back to my point, and I'll finalize this, and I got to go. The point is that you have been defining who you are in the forex market, in business, or anything else based off of the past historical data. But you've never realized that maybe that historical data has no reflection on who you are as a person. Those were just events in your life, but it wasn't your whole life. Do you know a lot of people commit suicide? They always talk about, I have nothing what? To live for. Well, where did you get that definition? Well, you got the definition because based off of historical data, all the different events and everything you've been through, you summarize that you may not be worth much of anything, and so therefore you feel like I don't need to be here anymore. Not realizing you may be the greatest gift on this planet, but because you haven't discovered you and you're connecting your losses and your situations to your value, just like in the forex market, you're connecting your value to a trade, when in essence the trade was just a trade. It had nothing to do with your actual value as a person. But you're connecting the two together, and you're going downhill emotionally in depression and everything else over a freaking trade. But it's not a trade to you. It's a reflection of who you are to you, not just a financial transaction. Do you see? Do you see how this plays out? I told you this was going to be good. I promise you, go search YouTube or any YouTube channel you want. I guarantee there is not a single video where somebody's going to talk about this portion. Guaranteed. And I would love for you to prove me wrong, because guess what? I ain't got pride. I'm not trying to be arrogant and say, see, only me. It's not about that. I'm just happy that God is allowing me to take all that I have been through and to put myself on a camera in front of a few thousand people who will be watching it later, because there'll be thousands who watch it later, to allow my experiences and my brokenness and everything that happened to me to be able to share my understanding of life a little bit better, so that I can be a blessing to, even if it's just one person, even if it's just one. And again, I don't care whether you join us or not. I'm not doing this for promotion. Okay? We got tons of videos that can prove what we do. Yeah, we'd still take losses, but I'm not trying to promote. I'm just trying to be a blessing to you and talk to your head while I got this time. You ain't got nothing better to do but to sit in your house and do nothing. And that's playing on your mind. So I just wanted to come along and be a blessing to you and let you know you can learn, if you learn to detach your circumstances and your history from who you are, then you'll see that you are still a champion. It's maybe that you're constantly involving yourself in the things that does not promote who you really are. Okay, what do I mean by that? All right, give you this and I'm gone. Right now I'm looking at my cell phone. Okay, but behind my cell phone there's a cell phone case to protect the cell phone. So if the cell phone starts talking to the cell phone case and saying I'm more valuable than you, price wise, yeah, that would be true. But in essence, they're both valuable. I need the phone to do my day-to-day functionalities, so it is important. But at the same time, the cell phone case is just as important to me as the phone itself. Because without the cell phone case, I don't feel comfortable even carrying my cell phone without it. So just because one cost more in dollars didn't mean it was more important in value. You see how we compare ourselves to other people, to other things, other situations, and then we devalue ourselves based on our false perception of ourselves, because we're contributing so much value to somebody else and what we see in their world until we're not looking at the value we bring. And thus we never become who we really are. And then you bring yourself to the Forex market, you're already down and depressed and beaten down emotionally, and then here comes the Forex market to compound that by taking a loss here or there, hitting your stop loss. And now you really just folding over emotionally on the inside. You folding over, collapsing, collapsing. And your past has nothing to do with who you are, loved one. If I was to judge myself based off of all that I have went through, I was talking to my family because we got this large group text, and I sent to them because there's a debate within our family about whether these states should be opening up for the coronavirus, with the coronavirus, or stay on the lockdown. And I said, it's a lesser of two evils, because you got families who are at home and they literally have nothing, nothing. My wife and I, we recently donated hundreds of dollars to this organization. My wife found out and heard about it, where it was like 10,000 people standing in line to get food, and the food bank ran out of food. Oh, that broke my heart. God, that broke my heart. And so instantly we started sending some money to help support. And we've been doing that almost every day, sending money here and there to support different organizations, right? So when I was talking with some of my family members, and they like, nah, man, see, these people, they just want they want their money. They don't need no nail shops. They don't need no barber shop. They don't need no this. I said, but these people got families too. And you're telling me to keep them on lockdown for 3 more months, and they literally never got the stimulus check for $1,200. And even if they did, if anybody who got some kids, that $1,200 can be gone in a week with them hungry jokers. Thank you, Jesus. I ain't got no more little kids living with me. Thank you, Jesus. Y'all understand what I'm saying? And so they got nothing. And you're telling them to be on lockdown for another 3 months. Meanwhile, the government is talking about there will be no vaccine for months on end. And then you telling me, hey, we got to be on lockdown for 3 more months. How do I feed my family? And then I posted into the group. I said, if you look at Lebanon, and this is what I told my family in advance, this is what they're trying to avoid. In Lebanon right now, they have riots going on in the streets. Why? Because the people are hungry and they have no money and no food. So they're like, look, one or the other are going to kill us. Either we're going to die of starvation or we're going to die for corona. And I got kids. So guess what? I'd rather go through the challenge of going back to work, and at least I can make something to put food on the table for my family. See, it's no win. But see, to a lot of people, they're like, man, whatever, man. I don't want to hear all that. See, the problem is you're comfortable. You're sitting back on your fat belly, chilling. You got food to feed your family. You got a little money in your pocket, so you can't see the suffering of others. But see, if you've been in a line like I did, and I told one of the people today they needed some funds to take care of something for the business, and I said, hey, no problem. And you know what I told them? I said, thank God that I can now give what I used to have to beg for. Did you hear what I said? I can donate now what I used to have to beg for. I never forgot when I had to stand in line for food. I never forgot when I almost homeless. Never forgot that. With kids. I never forgot that. But here's what I did, and I'll leave you with this last piece. I remember this situation, and I'm talking about mental stability, strength, even in the Forex market. That's how I can take a hit and keep on ticking, okay? Like Timex, remote watches. I'll never forget that time. It will always burn in my memory. I will never forget I was standing in line because I was so broke, had no money, nothing. And that was back in the day when the government used to pass out free cheese and butter. Never forget this. And I'm going to say it quickly because it can still bring tears to my eyes. How far God brought me. And I had nothing to feed my family with. And so, I ain't going to do that. Y'all ain't about to get me on doing the memes. Oh, Uncle P make the... No, you ain't getting me. So I'm going to say this quick and keep it moving. But I feel the tears coming because it's still the memory of it. And I remember I was standing in line with all these people, and they were just in line talking, like it was nothing, just like an everyday thing for them. And that was my first time having to get in line, waiting my turn to get some butter and government cheese. That was when they used to having bricks of butter and bricks of cheese, and people used to talk about that cheese and butter. It wasn't funny to me, never was. Even to this day, it's not funny, because I had to feed my family with that. And I still remember, though, While they were all holding conversations with each other, I didn't want to talk to nobody in that line. They would turn around, I ain't talking to none of y'all. I was angry on the inside. You know why I was angry on the inside? Watch. Self-esteem. Self-esteem. Low or high. Here's what I told myself, and I still remember this to this day. I told myself in that line, I don't belong here. I still remember it to this day. God forbid that I drop a tear on this camera, but Lord, they right there. Because I still remember the pain, the fear. But I remember what I told myself. I said, I don't belong here. I don't belong here. I still remember that. Yep. I still remember. Stop. Eyes, you better stop it. Put that water back in them. It was painful. It was painful. I said, I don't belong here. See, I wasn't willing to accept my circumstances and define myself accordingly. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And so I remember when I was poor, what I would do, I would go to neighborhoods where they were building homes, and I would walk through those homes while they were being framed up and everything else. I was walking through them. I would walk through the homes and look through them, and I would dream. And then I would go into model homes as if, hey, I'm ready to buy a house. And I would walk through the model homes and everything in these nice neighborhoods, and I would say, one day I'm gonna have one of these. One day, one day. I kept saying that. One day. Notice what I'm saying. I had to detach how I value myself from my circumstances. Same thing in Forex. I have to detach how I feel about myself from a winning trade or a losing trade. I have to keep the two separated. Because if I merge the two together, I can come and feel a little emotional. I can be highly emotional when I win a trade, but if I lose a trade, hold on. Woo! I can be highly emotional when I lose a trade, but I can also be highly emotional when I win one. So it keeps me on this swinging pendulum. I don't want to be like that. Just be cool, okay? Cool, cool. So I still would remember talking to myself, and I would sit there and dream. Years later, because I remember one house, somebody invited me to a party at a friend's house. And I walked in their house and I was just in awe. I was like, oh my God, look at this beautiful house. And they had an indoor Juliet balcony inside the house. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I said, one day I'm going to have. Notice my circumstances at the moment were not conducive to what I said. But, inside of me, I never gave up on me. I never did. And do you know, years later, I end up not only designing my last house, which I moved out of. I'm done with that house. I don't need the space no more. But that house was a 7,000 square foot home. 5 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms. My bedroom was a 2-story bedroom, had a pool table room, theater room, the whole nine, and it was right around the corner from a couple of sports stars. Little old black boy me. Ain't that cute? Ain't God good, right? Why? Because I never gave up on myself. I never put my name when the devil asked me, if you be Uncle P, then why are you struggling like you are? If God is good, then why are you going through all that? See how that story plays out? And I had to keep talking away from that. I couldn't attach who I was to my circumstances. I had to keep them separate. So watch what happened. Not only did I design multiple homes that I had built for myself at the time. I don't need that stuff no more. I like living simple and quiet. But I also ended up building and designing homes for other people. And you want to know what's so cool about it? I never went to school for it. I never went to school for it. I helped design many people's homes from blueprint to finish. From blueprint to laying of the foundation all the way to the finish line. I helped many people, including my parents, get theirs done around the corner from me. And here's the truth. I never went to school for it. But do you know where I got that knowledge from? When I had nothing. And I was walking around in them homes, them frames, and watching the electricians put the electric wires in, and watching the plumbers put the plumbing in. And I kept on dreaming, and I kept on dreaming, and I kept on dreaming, and I kept on talking to myself, and I kept on saying, I ain't cool. One day. See, I didn't give up on myself because I couldn't define who I was, but what I was going through. And loved one, I'm going to leave you with that. Stop defining yourself by every trade that you win or lose. Stop defining yourself by every situation that you come in contact with, including this coronavirus quarantine. It ain't personal unless you make it personal. Hang on to who you know you are. And if you don't know, and that's the last thing. Well, what I don't know. I don't know who I am. You know what the biggest mistake we make? And this was a thought. It could have been God talking to me. I think it was, but I don't want to put blame on just in case I'm wrong. But he said, you know, the biggest mistake that people make, they spend their whole life trying to find out who they are, when in essence all they had to do was come to me and ask. If I made you, wouldn't I be the person who would know exactly what I designed you for? When I was designing homes, when it was in the building stage and you seen the wires and the framing, and people was like, why you got that hole over there? Well, I am the person who designed the house. Oh, that's because in that bathroom over there, we're going to have a big flat screen TV on the wall right in front of the big jacuzzi tub. So when we're sitting in the tub, we can look at the flat screen TV and watch TV, which we did. But when you saw it in the framing stage, you like, well, I don't know why I did. So if that hole in the wall was sitting there, the hole in the wall said, well, I got to be the only hole in the wall in this bathroom. Well, I got to be the only one with some wires hanging out here in this bathroom. Everybody else got wires over there. Well, I got to be. Loved one, I have a purpose for you. And you're going to serve a great purpose. But until you come and ask the person who designed you, you'll never know. So you're going to spend your whole life trying to figure out, well, who am I? You will never reach the end of that. Why? You didn't create and design yourself. You got to go back to your creator. And then when the devil comes and says, if you be, put your name, Kathy, if you be Kevin, if you be John, if you be George, if you be, put your name there. You can respond back and keep it moving. Like Jesus did. Notice he didn't respond to any of that. Because, well, I ain't gonna answer you. I know who I am. Like people when they be coming to Forex. Well, show me your financials. What the hell? Lord forgive me. Who you think you are? That I, after all that I've been through, I have to prove to you how much money I'm making. Well, guess what? If you be Uncle Pete, then show me how much money you got in your bank. I mean, people be asking that stuff. Nigga, Roger, if you don't kick rocks. As if I'm going to lower myself down to you to prove to you who I am. I've been through too much, loved one. And you just one of them people who's working on behalf of the devil. If you be. If you don't believe me, then just keep it moving. That's always your choice. Why are you wasting time on me? If you don't think I am who I am, then so be it. I didn't ask you to consider me in the first place. I don't even know you. And then some stranger gonna send emails or this and that demanding that I prove who I am. Who are you? See, when you get self-confidence, when the devil comes your way with these kind of minions and these kind of people, you can fend it off now because you're not connecting the two together. You know who you are. All right. Hopefully this video was helpful. Whether it wasn't, okay. I just felt like talking to you guys because guess what? We're on coronavirus lockdown. We ain't got nothing else to do. So we might as well just hang out and talk sometimes and get our minds straight, right? Okay. Especially in Forex, because next time you lose a trade, you'll begin to not associate the trade to you personally. You won't call yourself a failure. The trade itself failed. You do your research, find out if you missed any steps. If you did, okay, journal it, write down, okay, hey, oh, I forgot to check this, I forgot to do that. And then you move on to the next trade. But you will no longer be a person who trades by blaming yourself at the end of the day. You won't look for blame. You just look for corrective moves, and then you go to the next one, okay? Anyway, I'm out of here. Gotta go. Bye.